Get her!
Hey, Autumn Athletes, Larry Sorensen here, and today I'm going to connect with Ben Harris and find out what makes him an Autumn Athlete that's not done yet. Before we get started, as always, if you enjoy our content, please like, subscribe, ding that bell for notifications, share this video, and don't forget to go to AutumnAthletesNDY.com to get your cool merchandise and gear. Okay, Ben, thanks so much for joining us today. Why don't you kick us off with an introduction?
Yeah, my name is Ben Harris. I live in Christiansburg, Virginia, which is the western part. I married, have 3 kids, ages 4, 8, and 12, and track and field athlete and play some soccer.
So we want to get right into kind of your highlights here and find out what you really do. So track and field and soccer. I know you've been in track and field, at least masters, for a fairly short time, but fill us in on PRs, any kind of championships or medals, podiums. And then soccer, same thing. Just kind of give us a laundry list of what you consider to be your highlight reel.
Yeah, well, I always joke it's really easy to get a lifetime PR when you start at 40, basically. But I definitely consider myself to still be getting started for sure. And I do the local or regional, I guess, track and field Masters Track Championships. I've done, I guess, three or four of those now. And I guess everyone I've been to, I've won those, my age group. Sometimes it's not hard if I'm the only one, but there's definitely been, competitors some of those times. And so I guess thinking about PRs, my first kind of when I got into it, basically my second race, second 100-meter race ever, I was almost 40. I was like 39 and 11 months or something. I ran 11.9 in the 100. That's basically off of some distance training. I'd been training for a 5K at that point. And that was my second time. And I've been under 12 seconds ever since then and shooting, I'd like to see if I can get how far I can get under 11 eventually. But right now I'm 11.3 in the 100 and 23.3 in the 200. I was training for the 400 at some point earlier, and I decided I was trying to do too much at once. As my body kind of got used to it. I got into it late, so late in life, my body was try to do a few sprints and sort of make some progress. And my body's like, "Whoa, what are we doing?" Injury pop up, you have to stop, take a break, reevaluate. So it's been a process.
So that's kind of your track and field highlights. Do you have any soccer highlights?
So I played when I was young, probably 5 or 6 for 2 or 3 years or something, just the local rec soccer. And I did not play again until I was 38. And it was fun. I'll throw this little story. And I went out to play my first game, and I was meeting all the players. I didn't know any of the players, asking them their ages, and it slowly dawned on me that the last time that I had played soccer, none of them were alive. And that was when I was able to start fully embracing, all right, I'm old now. Let's just embrace it. It's part of my life, and move forward with that as a given. But it wasn't my first season, but I was able to help our team to the league title. I mean, it's not saying a whole lot, but as far as the league goes, just a local rec adult league. But I'm the oldest player in the league by a good bit, and our team made it to the final, and I scored 2 goals, and we won 5-3. So that's my very small claim to fame.
Hey, you're out there doing something that's still good.
Yeah, right.
So back to track and field for a second. Haven't you been a part of some relay teams that have done some pretty cool stuff?
Well, we won our regional USATF Masters Regional Southeast Region meet. Yep, I've done that twice, and then of course I'm now a part of Joy's Jackrabbits, and we just won our age group gold medal at the indoors championships in Albuquerque.
So you say that kind of cavalier that you just won the gold medal. So
Yeah.
what relay was it that you guys won the gold medal at the indoor national championships? And then give a shout out to your teammates.
Yeah, it was 4x200. I guess we technically won the 4x400 as well, but we didn't have any competitors in that one, so that was kind of a given. Shout out to Tony Eccles, Rowan Marinin, and Keith Major. They, as I've been learning track, they've really helped me a lot to bring me into the game. So I appreciate them.
You talk a little bit about their mentorship. Now you've got some record holders in that group. So tell us a little bit more about the relationship and, going from your local track meet to competing with these gentlemen that have times that are, national records, in some case world records. What's that like going into competing and also teaming up with those guys?
I like the competition for sure. Competition drives. I'm very competitive. It can be, that could be a good thing, it could be a bad thing, but I guess having the high level competition there hopefully will take me farther than if I didn't have it. But it's a little bit annoying, I guess, in a good way, to look and realize that basically there was one year I looked, I forget in the outdoor championships in the 100 Masters, the winning time was 12 something seconds. And so it's super annoying. Like, man, there was one point, like basically almost the first time I ran the race, I could have won nationals. Now you have to be under 11 to medal, and mid 11s may not even get you, in the top 4 or 5. But it is great to have the good competition there. And I guess I'm like first in the second group. We got the 4 record holders in front of me, outdoor and indoor record holders, and then that second group. So I'm trying to work my way up eventually. At least that's the goal.
You mentioned something earlier that you played a little bit of soccer as a youngster. Did you do any other athletics? What did you do in your 20s and 30s until you got involved with masters track and soccer again?
Yeah, I did no athletics past about the age of, I was trying to remember exactly, but 9 or 10, something like that. My family at the time, the decision was made we wouldn't do any sports or athletics. And we just basically went into farm work. I learned farming, logging, and building kind of stuff. That's where I ended up putting my efforts. That when I was 14 or 15, we built our own house, my dad and my brother, as in we actually built it, not we hired it done. And then I got into logging with horses, which I did for 20 years. So that's an interesting, from a physical fitness standpoint, it definitely kept me in good shape in a general sense, at least the way I did it. We used horses, very physical work, not sprinting for sure, but general fitness. It's very much an endurance thing. So I think that was helpful in a lot of ways. And I did that for 20 years, and then eventually transitioned to real estate trading, which I do now, have done for about 9 years.
I don't really know what it is to log with horses. I don't know if my audience does. So maybe educate us a little bit about, I don't know, a typical day or something, or week, or what it is to be a logger with horses.
That's one of the first questions I usually get is like, so you're like a lumberjack? And I'm like, yes, that's exactly what I am. I cut trees down, get them out of the woods, and haul them to the mill or saw them into lumber myself. So I had my own business. That's what I did for 20 years. The idea is using the horses is low impact. You might have seen logging jobs that are just clear cuts that look like a bomb went off, big mess. The idea is that using horses is low impact, helps us to take care of the woods while getting products that we need from it. So that was it's kind of a little niche I got in the area here in the mountain. I live in the mountains. It's kind of we We have unique wood kind of globally. The wood that grows here, you can only get from here. It's kind of like South American tropical hardwoods. You can only get that in South America, but the wood we have here in these mountains is very unique. And, it's common here, but not anywhere else in the world. So that's kind of the business I was in. Grew it a little bit. Eventually realized I couldn't grow it anymore that in the way that I wanted to, and transitioned to. I do mostly land now. I buy and sell land.
Obviously, you've stayed in good shape in general, and now with sprinting, you're getting yourself maybe even a higher level of conditioning. We want to know how you're doing that. So give us an idea of your typical workout routine, any cross training stuff you do, weight room, track, road racing, whatever it is you do to continue to build on your fitness.
Yeah, maybe I'll jump backwards just briefly. When I was, I guess it was when I was 38, is when essentially I just woke up one morning and it's like, wait a second, I wanted to play soccer my whole life. Why don't I just go play soccer? So, as I was doing that, a friend was like, hey, you should train for a 5K. It'll help you prepare for soccer, which it does. It did for me at least. So I dove right into that, mileage, that kind of train. I didn't have a coach, although I just looked up a lot of information online at that point. Won my first little local race. That was fun. So then I was like, wait a second, what do I have to do to really beat the serious people around here? And I'm like, well, I'll probably have to get a coach and get more serious about it. Eventually I realized though that sprinting was more my strength. And all that to say that I did get a coach. Now I have a coach, Raul Delisle. I highly recommend him. Shout out to him. Anybody who's looking for a coach, check him out online. And but I had a few coaches before that, so my workouts was kind of changed. That's kind of my process. It's totally new. I'd never sprinted before. I never knew anybody who sprinted. I didn't know coach. Like I don't know what do you wear. I didn't know anything about anything. So I'm kind of making it up as I go. So my first coach, I realized, drastically overworked me. So what my workouts looked like then are a lot different, or my week, was a lot different. Essentially, it was doing something every day, really long workouts. I was never fresh. And even though I still did make a little bit of progress then, I eventually, transitioned to where I am now. It's usually ends up being about 3 sprint workouts per week. And I go pretty light on the gym these days. Usually one or 2 days. Depends on where we are in the season and stuff. But I'm mostly just leaning on my coach for how we're going to do things right now, and also trying to notice for myself, try to notice what is working and what's not, and try to think about the big picture that way.
So give us a typical sprint workout.
We vary a lot of things through the season. We usually structure it to peak at one of the championships. But, example might be a top speed workout, which I'm sure a lot of people are familiar with if they've done sprinting. Could be anywhere from 3 or 4 to 6 or so sets of 60 meters from start. You're essentially trying to hit your top speed for at least 30 meters. Doing that for a couple weeks, I can, I have the timing system. I can usually see an improvement in a couple weeks there. It's always fun to see. But a bit interesting, talking about training, for me, I found that my biggest weakness is not actually being able to run fast. It's being able to run fast in a suboptimal environment. Usually when I've at a championship meet where I've been running several days in a row, I'm not fully recovered. So we've been putting some effort into that, like trying to I guess it's is it the aloctic system that that lasts like 5 or 6 seconds, whatever that energy system we have is called. Trying to improve that, and I have seen improvements. Feel better. I felt better at the end of this meet in Albuquerque recently than I did, even last summer. So I feel like we're moving in the right direction, because I feel like, I don't know if this is how it always is, but it feels to me like I could have run faster just based off my practice times.
Yeah.
Could have ran faster, but I was not. I wasn't in a good state of recovery at the point, which is, everybody is. It's not like anybody else has a better situation there as far as that goes. But just setting myself up to be able to handle the volume, because I've never done any of it before. Like running 4-day meet in a row, totally brand new to me.
Yeah.
So it's interesting to see how different it is. Even from 5K running, which I didn't know. Before I started running, was just running. I didn't know it was different. I didn't know anything. So even when I first started sprint training, I had the guy who was training me at the time wasn't even a sprint coach. He was helping with my ACL rehab, recovery. And he would tell me to do like flying 30s. And I didn't know specifically what that meant. Like in my mind, I'm still doing 5K running. So that means I'm going to jog a lap, and then at halfway through it, I'm going to run 30 meters as fast as I can and then keep jogging. Like that's how, like, I didn't know. I didn't know anything. I think my biggest struggle, especially when I was first getting into it, isn't the things that I didn't know. It was the things that I didn't know that I didn't know. Because if you don't know something, then you go and figure it out. It's if you don't know that you don't know something, you don't even know that you're supposed to figure it out. And that was one of the hardest parts of my process. Like I started with the first coach I had, I had him over a year. I didn't even know that he was overloading me. I didn't have anything to go off of and like to compare it to. I was like, well, I did this in high school, this is different, or whatever. It's just, he had me do a big workout, and then I'd go spend 2 hours in the gym the next day, and then you go to another track workout, another 2 hours in the gym. And it's just over time, I just never recovered. And I didn't even know that I thought that's just how it was. Like if I work really hard, I can get results. And it's interesting that sprinting is kind of the opposite. It's not about doing a lot of work. It's about doing the right work at the right time with the recovery. So that's been an interesting process, part of the process for me.
So you mentioned maybe twice a week in the gym. You look like you're still holding on to quite a bit of muscle. I mean, with only maybe 2 days in the gym, are you doing like some sort of full body workout, or how do you do that to keep your overall body strong?
No, it's pretty minimal. This week, I've been doing this for a while. It's like 2 sets, 12 deadlift, 2 times 12 bench, 2 times 12 row, and that's it. And
for those of us that are hard gainers, you're not making yourself very popular right now.
yeah. I mean, I've never had a problem gaining muscle if I tried to. It's just been how it is. But
so as we talk about gaining muscle, I want to transition into your diet and nutrition. So give us an idea of how you do eat to support the muscle that you do have and keep building. And do you count macros or any of that kind of stuff, or do you just eat what you think is good and healthy? Kind of give us a whole outline of how you do that.
Yeah, so I definitely think a lot about my food. Try to keep it, whole food, clean, not processed. And it's not like a hard rule. I definitely make exceptions, but overall, I don't count calories or macros or anything. I have at certain points tried some of that, but eventually I'm just like, nah, I'm not gonna do that, and it works fine. So it's less to think about. But I mean, I still, get certain foods that I like to eat and eat them regularly. So in that sense, I generally know, like, if I eat this regular, then I'll be healthy. But I mean, I can't I mean, some of these, I always joke with Tony. He's always Tony Eccles. He eats his donuts, and he'll be sitting there munching his Swedish fish the night before the race. I'm like, I can't do that. Like, my body does not like stuff like that. And but everyone's different. That's you got to figure out what works for you. And
So what is your main protein intake? Are you a meat eater or do you plant,
mhm.
vegetable? How do you get your protein?
I do meat, no special diet, nothing modified there. We do a lot of I hunt here. There's a lot of deer. We hunt deer. We have certain times, the freezer's packed with venison, and also we get a usually we buy like half a cow with some family members from a local farm here, and that's where I get a lot of it. But I also supplement with some protein powders, and
Yeah.
I try to make if I have snacks, try to make them, like get some protein in there. I don't know, nuts and stuff like that.
Yeah.
How much that actually affects uh, everything, I don't know, but that's what I do.
How about like cheat meals or sweets or anything like that? When you do want to indulge, what's your go-to?
I like chips a lot, definitely. I like. It's funny. I like ice cream. I really like good ice cream. Um, but it also doesn't make me feel very good at all. Right after I eat it, I just feel terrible. So I have a love-hate relationship with that.
At 42, you just basically got into masters track and field a couple years ago. What really was the motivator? You talked a little bit about kind of how you just sort of woke up, but what was really the motivator to do it? And then now what keeps you driving to keep improving?
My friend, sort of half jokingly, talks about how, because he was into running too. He's like, yeah, it's another version of a midlife crisis. There's probably some truth to that. Um, but I think there's a lot of things that I've been reevaluating and getting back to doing things that I always wanted to do. Something I just decided to do because I mean I can remember being I don't know, I must have been 7 or 8, and driving by the track, seeing the kids running. I always wanted to race, especially the short sprints. I remember running around the playground, in elementary school, just running fast, and I just loved it. And so I always wanted to like find out where those limits were, and so obviously it looks a lot different. Um, Starting that at 40 years old than at 14 or whatever. Um, but you work with what you got, and so yeah, I guess I want to see if I can. Yeah, I want to see how fast I can get, where that limit is, and of course, I mean, you got to have some kind of goal. I want to break a record someday. That's my goal. I don't have a timeline, but because I don't know enough to put a timeline on it. I don't know how long it takes. But I've talked to a number of guys. They're like 8 or 10 years into it. Starting as a masters athlete before they get there. So
Yeah.
who knows? Is it possible? Only one way to find out.
So starting sprinting, like you said, at 40, maybe looks a little bit different. We haven't really talked about injuries or any kind of setbacks. Have you had any physical issues during this time period? And even back through your logging days and things, have you had any kind of physical setbacks or injuries that you've had to overcome, and how did you overcome them?
So going back to, I think I was about 20. Um, I was actually playing a pickup football game, which this was the first and only time that I ever played football at all. Like I had a couple friends, and they're like, "Hey man, we're playing the local high school team this afternoon. You should come play with us." I'm like, I don't know how to play. I haven't played football. Oh, you can play football. Just come play with us. So we go out there and make a few plays. Next thing I know, I tackled this guy and I end up in this heap, and my ACL popped. Everybody heard it in the heap, loud pop in my knee. Long story short, I did not have an ACL for 20 years.
Oh.
And when I went to try to play soccer, I played a couple games, and it became very apparent that it was not going to work to play soccer or do any kind of running with it as it was. And so yeah, I did ACL reconstruction. That was right before I got into sprinting. Actually, coming off of, you're on crutches and for a little while, and then you slowly start walking. And it was coming off of that where I started my 5K training. And I still deal with that knee to some, because basically the ACL, with the ACL being gone, it put a lot of stress on other parts of the knee that weren't designed to have that, and did that for 20 years, like the cartilage and stuff. So I guess apparently the surgeon was in there. He's like, yeah, it's pretty messed up in there, but you just work what you got. And I've done different things. It used to, last summer especially, it was really bad. It would swell up a lot every week, but done several treatments and it's better. I don't know that it's fixed, but the symptoms, at least for now, are kind of controlled. But I've also had my share of hamstring strains. The last indoor season, a year ago in particular, I had several in a row. Cut out a number of weeks of training here and there, which can be annoying at the time. This year it's been adductors are strained. And yeah, I guess I try to assess. You can't always tell if it's correlation or causation. So I try to look at, okay, what happened right before that, and I just keep notes of it. And I think about it at the time. It's hard to make a definite conclusion. Usually it's probably related to overtraining, at least overtraining in relation to what I'm capable of right now. Hopefully, I'll be able to improve that as time goes on. But also, I had I guess I was probably 25. I was logging in Wyoming, and you have safety procedure that you always follow, a couple steps before you cut the tree down to make sure you don't get hit. Well, I did that on this tree, cut the tree down, and I missed one that was up and behind me. And basically, I got trapped under a tree. It fell on me, and it hit me in my upper back here. It didn't like slam me to the ground. It kind of fell. So there's a pine tree, so it kind of fell slowly. But I was trapped there for quite a while. I mean, like an hour or two, a couple hours. And I wasn't sure because nobody knew where I was at the time, and I wasn't sure if I was going to make it out. And eventually, I was able to wiggle my way out, which I'm not sure how, because I tried for hours and I didn't. But eventually, I did. But my whole upper back is all, or lower neck even, it's all messed up. They took an X-ray, and there's just cartilage in there that was turning to a bone. It showed up as a bone on the X-ray, and the doctors are like, "Why do you have a bone there?" Well, I guess it's what the body does to protect itself from further injury. So it's always kind of annoying. It hasn't really affected me directly with sprinting, but it's kind of, there's always a little there can be a nagging pain there, running, stuff like that. That's probably the main thing. Hey, there's always little, I don't know, we're aging humans, I guess. There's always something hurting, Is it an injury? Probably not, but
yeah. You mentioned before that your training has changed in order to give you a little more recovery time, a little less volume, those types of things. What do you do for kind of rest and recovery? Are you like an ice bath or sauna, stretcher? Tell us how you, besides just that reduction in volume, manage to recover your body to be fresh.
That's something I'm still working on, trying to dial in what works best for me. I do not do ice baths as a general rule. I will use them if like at a championship meet, if I'm not feeling great, but I have a race the next day, it can definitely help with that. What I'm operating on now is what I've heard. I'm not medically trained at all, so I'm just going off of what I've heard. I could change my mind in the future, but essentially what I've heard is ice baths slow down your body's natural healing process. So you're actually keeping it from doing what you want it to do, but it does feel better in the moment. It's it reduces the inflammation, which is why I do it. I'll do it if I have an event that I'm at, but I don't do it as a general recovery technique. Maybe I'll change my mind one day, but that's what I'm doing. I do heat, nothing more than hot showers, really, I guess, for as far as heat goes. But rolling, a lot of massage guns, that kind of stuff. Try to hit the massages when I can. I don't always get them in. Once a month is nice, but it doesn't always happen. I just like to go on. We have some land here, like 30 acres of woods and field. I just like to go and walk. Kind of get blood flowing.
Yeah.
That's anything. I figure if it feels better, it's probably helping me. So,
what is your favorite thing about Masters Track and Field, and what would you say to someone who might be listening to this that is like, oh, maybe that's something I want to do?
Yeah, I think the greatest thing about Masters Track in particular is it's open to anyone. So if you're thinking about it, you should jump in. Great community of people, everyone's supportive. We're all out there to just have fun, right? That's the goal. If we can go and compete and be able to do it the next day, I think that's a win for everyone.
So you said you like to take some walks on your property and things like that. If you have downtime and you just kind of want to chill, what is it you like to do? Is it, movies? Is it books, concerts? I don't know what.
Yeah, I like a good movie, and I do a lot of reading, or I like to read. I used to do a lot of reading, having 3 kids. That doesn't happen a whole lot anymore, but I do like it.
Any favorite books or movies that you want to share with us?
I do a lot of almost academic kind of reading. I like fiction too, but one and really interesting one recently is called The Master and His Emissary. It's about the how our brain has 2 hemispheres and the differences between the 2 hemispheres, and essentially how that has shaped history. It's a really fascinating book. Kind of hard to read, but for whatever reason, I find it really interesting.
So how about your family? Do you want to tell us a little bit about your family?
Yep, I have a 4-year-old daughter, 8-year-old daughter, and 12-year-old son. My wife, we've been married about 15 years. She works full time. And of course, my kids are all in some level of school. And they all, well, at least 8 and 12-year-old, are very interested in track. There's a few local meets, kind of like family meets. They love to come and run at those. So that's a lot of fun. I coach my son's soccer.
All right. Well, Ben, I want to thank you so much for joining us today to let us know what makes you an autumn athlete that's not done yet. I'd like to wrap up by giving you the floor to just give us some final thoughts.
I would just encourage everyone to, if you're thinking about getting into track or any other athletic pursuit, go and do it. There's no time like the present. Nothing stopping you. And if I can start at 40 from total scratch, anybody else can too. And also, the one thing I've done is as I've been starting to learn, give myself permission to learn what works for me. Like, I don't have to do what the other person does that's running fast. Learn what works for me. Whatever recovery training, it can be. Everybody can look different, so that's may not be new for everybody, but that's something I think about a lot.
Well, there you go, folks. Ben Harris. He is definitely an autumn athlete that's not done yet. Remember, keep moving, set your own goals, and train hard to achieve them. Thanks so much for watching, and we will see you next time.